Many blessings, my beautiful star family. How are you all doing? Wow, it feels like it's been such a long time since I've seen you all. Now, yeah, it's a month because on the last full moon, I was on my holidays with my family. I'm still feeling very glowy and sweaty. It's really warm here in the UK at the moment. We're having quite the heat wave. And of course, we're coming up to our summer solstice, which is going to be next week. So this lunar tide that's coming is very powerful and very transformative. I would say very auspicious as well, because, this lunar cycle, the new moon is aligning as Saturn is stationing to go retrograde. So at the same time, we're having a new moon, which is aligned with the silver gate of reincarnation, which is really close to the constellation Orion, or it's just above Orion's hand in the sky. And it's right at the end of constellation Taurus and right at the beginning of constellation Gemini. So at the time of this new moon, we have quite a lot of forces at play here. And, there's also the solstice coming up. So for those of you in the southern hemisphere, you will be celebrating your winter solstice or Yule, the returning of the light. And for those of us in the north, we're celebrating our Lifa or summer solstice, which is the time of the most light of the summer. It's that real, when it's just, well, so hot, right? And the days are long. And so it's like the solstice is like a 3-day portal, of transformation and change. So that's next Wednesday for us. And something that I really want to dive into today as well, as we are coming up to the solstice energy, the building up of it, is on the 22nd, so the day after the solstice, we have a Venus and Moon conjunction, and they also conjunct Mars as well. And they're actually, Venus is at her full ascension. So she will be at the seventh gate of the crown at the time of her conjunction with the moon and coming into alignment with Mars. So on one side, we'll have Venus, who will be in the constellation of Cancer, the water, the descending lunar energy. And then on the other side of the moon, we will have the Mars will be in the stars of early Leo, the ascending solar energy. So on one side, we have like the silver lunar energy, and on the other side, we have the golden solar energy. And so these two energies of the Mars and the Venus, they really are coming into balance. And in the Vedic astrology, they're aligned with Al-Reshka, which is the head of the serpent. So this is on the 22nd, the day after the solstice. So it's all really big energies, isn't it, for this new cycle? So where I'm going to begin is we're going to jump into the live sky. So many of you know, if you've been following this channel for some time, that I use the live sky for my astrology readings, because this is the sky as it really is. So I needn't say more information than that. If you want to look further into that yourself, you can. Some people call this type of astrology constellational astrology. Some people call it true sidereal astrology. So it really is, up to you what you want to call it. So I'm just looking at the exact time of the new moon. So the new moon in Taurus will be, it's right at the end of Taurus, will be on the 18th of June. That's tomorrow, Sunday, at 5:37 in the morning. So I'm recording this on Saturday. So we are in the dark of the moon right now. So let's change the time. So the 18th of June at 5:37, just to get it exact for us all. So you can see this is the constellation of Taurus. So you can see the red lines around here. This is the constellation boundaries that have been defined by NASA. So you can, depending on your, what kind of astrology you're using, it may be coming up different depending on what constellational boundaries you're using. My preference is to jump into the live sky and to really look at where the sun and the moon are at the time of the new moon for myself, and go from there. And that's my preference rather than the drawing up of the charts. Although when I've drawn up my chart for the new moon, it's coming up in the end of Taurus. So some of you may be coming up in Gemini already. And Western astrology is probably right at the end of Gemini, right? About to move into Cancer. So you can see this is the sky as it really is at the time of the new moon. We have sun and moon together as it's a new lunar cycle. And they are also aligned with, you come all the way down here to beautiful asteroid Juno. Juno in the mythology is the wife of Jupiter. And, she is, as an asteroid, what she's symbolizing is, what we are committed to. It's our marriage, it's our commitments, but it's also, to do with child rearing, mothering, all of the kind of more maternal aspects as well. So this new lunar cycle, as it's aligned with the Silver Gate of Reincarnation, so you can see here, this is the constellation Orion that's just underneath the constellation Taurus. So this is Taurus in the horns, and we go down, and this is the constellation Orion. So Orion is the hunter, and we all know the three stars of Orion's belt pretty well, I'm sure. But if you go up here, you can see his hand. So at the top of his hand, this is known as the Silver Gate of Reincarnation. And it's also known as the anti-galactic center because it's completely directly opposite our galactic center, which is the super massive black hole that's in the center of our Milky Way galaxy. So the anti-center and the galactic center is over in early Sagittarius, which is where the full moon will be in 2 weeks. And that is known as the Golden Gate of the Gods. So if you think of the Golden Gate as like the ascending golden energy, and I was talking about the solar Mars energy being in Leo, so we've got this ascending solar energy or the golden energy, and the Silver Gate or the lunar energy is the descending reincarnating, coming down into the body energy. So you can see how, both ends of this gate, the gold and the silver, they have this aspect of ascension, the solar energy of, the Golden Gate of the Gods, and the descending energy of the Silver Gate of Reincarnation. So you can see how powerful this new moon is because it's right at the hand of Orion. It's so there, and without even going into the other aspects, I could talk for a whole video about this, but there's lots I want to share with you all. But as we're coming to this solstice energy, it's such a powerful time anyway, to be coming together and to be doing ceremonies and doing rituals for ourselves or for our community around, in the winter, if you're coming into the winter solstice, it's the celebration of the returning of the light, so you could be lighting candles for the light as it's coming. It's like we're, really calling in that new ascending energy. And for those of us who are in the summer solstice, we're at the high point of all the light. It's like after the summer solstice, the days will be getting shorter. So we'll be going down into the dark. So these two energies, the light and the dark, the ascension and the descension, the gold and the silver, the solar and the lunar, this cycle feels to me like there's so much for us to really be harnessing within our own being around the polarities of light and dark, masculine and feminine. And this isn't about gender, it's about energies and how we are using them both, and we need to have balance. Like we know that on the earth, if it's so dry and there's no water, there's so much sun you know, everything dies because they need water to keep everything fertile. And then if there's too much water and no sun, then nothing grows either. So, and that is symbolic of us, you know, like we need to be in balance to have, you know, the most nourished and fulfilling and beautiful life, you know. So if we are doing very masculine kind of energy and no resting or integrating or stopping or dreaming, or, you know, we can get out of balance. So it's about really tuning into these energies in ourselves and how we can look at reflecting on, maybe like, because Saturn is going retrograde in Aquarius, you know, so it could be around work in the community, work in like more of a collaborative way. And we could be really reflecting on, you know, this Saturn return, Saturn retrograde, around our responsibilities, around our work. And, you know, with Juno here as well, it really makes me think about, you know, our commitments and our marriages, and are we in balance in all of these things, or are we working too much, or are we working not enough, you know? And so I really feel like the Saturn going retrograde at the beginning of this cycle and the alignment with Juno, you know, the Silver Gate, and it's really calling us into more awareness around balance and yeah, the solar and lunar within us. So I want to move forward in the live sky up to the 22nd. So some of you may know around the journey of Venus. So Venus is very reflective of, you know, symbolic of the journey of Inanna, of Persephone, of Ishtar, of this journey of descending and ascending, which also links into the silver and gold gates, right? And the solar and lunar energy. Wow, all the synchronicities are just amazing, right? So yeah, you can see here. So Venus, she will be, when we can't see her in the sky, you know, she has her descending into the underworld time. She will have 7 conjunctions with the moon when she's going down through the gates being the chakras. And then she has the 7 gates of ascension, where she's now after the new moon. So it's the waxing moon that she meets with Venus. So the energy is building and she's coming out of the underworld. And so now she's at her 7th gate. So she's at the crown chakra of her ascension. So she is literally at the top in heaven, in her royalty, in her sovereignty, and her connection to spirit and source. And so, you know, taking all of that into account as well, you know, this energy is I mean, the 22nd is the day after the summer solstice. So, but the summer solstice, winter solstice time is like a 3-day portal, like I said. So this is actually really in this solstice portal of transformation and change. So you can see Venus will be like in the constellation of Cancer with the moon. Mars, he's over in Leo. So, you know, the Mars energy in Leo is the fire and the solar and the creativity, very driven, very dynamic, very like that fire of creativity is burning hot, you know, so that he could be feeling very expressive and performing and like, yeah, wanting to get out there and create things. And then the Venus energy in Cancer is very nurturing. It's the mother energy. And also, you know, Venus and the moon together in Cancer, because the moon is at home in Cancer, right? So, wow, it's so beautiful. Like this conjunction at the crown, I just have this vision of like Venus in her full balance, you know, like Ishtar, Inanna, Persephone. She has risen from the underworld and she has reclaimed all parts of herself, you know. And I see these serpents, you know, the twining serpents of Ophiuchus, and you can see how she has risen, and all of her nadis, all of her siddhis, all of her power is balanced, and she has like got this Kundalini awakening. So really coming down over to I wanted to, where's Aureshka? Where are you, Aureshka? Let me search for it. I don't know why I can't find it. Aureshka. For some reason, maybe I'm spelling it wrong. Hydra. Okay, so there's a star at the head of the serpent called Aureshka. Where are you? Is that you? No. Oh my goodness, I can't even find it now. It might be one of these and it's just not coming up, but Aureshka. Maybe it's this one. I can't even remember now, but anyway, there is a star at the head of the serpent. So the Hydra constellation is this one here. Ah, it's probably not coming up because it's Vedic astrology, right? So, yeah, in the Vedic astrology, it's a nakshatra and it's called the Aureshka, which is the head of the serpent. So you can see the Hydra constellation goes all the way from Cancer all the way down to the like right at the beginning of Virgo. So it's a huge constellation. And yeah, the Aureshka is the head of the serpent. So you can see that Mars and Venus and the moon are exactly aligned with the head of the serpent. And we also have Pallas Athena here as well. So I believe Black Moon Lilith must be around here somewhere, but she's not coming up in this. But it'll be in my chart in a moment. Black Moon Lilith connected to the serpent as well, of course. And Pallas is like the connected to Athena, so the Athena energy is really much about justice, truth, integrity. She is very intelligent, so she is kind of like symbolic of that more masculine way of the feminine, like the very logical, very analytical. So to have her here with Mars, it's kind of like also giving more power to that masculine side of us too, because we have the moon and Venus together. So they're very strong over in Cancer. So it feels at the head of this serpent, is like this Kundalini energy, that's the serpent energy that's awakening with us on this conjunction on the 22nd. The 22nd is also the number of Venus, connected to Venus, Mary Magdalene. Her feast day is on the 22nd. So for this conjunction to fall on the 22nd, the day after the solstice, also feels very, auspicious. So, what are all these energies bringing us? Like I was saying, it feels like we could be getting like a complete realignment of our chakras, and our connection to spirit with the crown, and our sovereignty and our power, and just being balanced with the masculine and feminine inside of us. So, we could be feeling at the time of this conjunction of the moon, Venus, and Mars on the 22nd, we could be feeling like a lot of alignment coming in towards our destiny and our soul, our connection to our star, our soul star, and who we are. And we could start to really be feeling like the Mars energy and the Leo energy is like this real dynamic creativity. And Venus and the moon in Cancer is like really deeply rooted in all that we really love and want to nurture in ourselves. So there's this beautiful balance and this alchemy that's happening of the fire and the water, and then like the silver and the gold, and the ascension and the descension, and it's like, how do these polarities work within us, and how are they awakening us and helping us to really embody our soul, the body of the kind of like the descending feminine energy, and then the ascending solar masculine energy, and it's like they have to work together. you know, and the water and the fire and the sun and the moon. It's like everything has its place and has its balance, you know, so could be really coming into our awareness, you know, the beginning of this cycle as the energy is building. It's like Saturn going retrograde at the same time. What am I working towards here? You know, we're starting to reflect. And, you know, the Aquarian energy is taking us into this real kind of like more like radical and really true to our uniqueness and who we really are and what we're here to do, um and how we can best serve, you know, in the community, in the collective, in the tribe. um so depending on where Saturn is for us, you know, in our own chart, not Saturn, depending on what you have in Aquarius, I would say as well, like, so look at your own chart and see what you've got in Aquarius or what house Aquarius is in your chart, and that's where Saturn's retrograde will be affecting for you. And so that will be the themes that this retrograde will be around for you. But you know, Saturn moving through Aquarius, going backwards, he's like, it's going to be going back over reviewing our work, reviewing what we've done, reviewing like, has it been effective? Has it been efficient? You know, am I working too hard or not hard enough? Like I said, so there's lots of that to be really looking at this Saturn retrograde time. So this whole lunar cycle, you know, is really going to be connected to Saturn. And also, you know, there's lots going on as well. I'm actually today, I'm going to go over to the chart for you, and I'm going to actually, let's do silver because it's the silver gate. Okay, so yeah, I'm just going to do the new moon chart for you today, so it's not a hugely long video. But you know how, you know, I like to talk about all of the energies for the 4 quarters as well. So the new moon will be at the last degrees of Taurus, and that's on the 18th. Then we have our solstice on the 21st, Venus moon conjunction on the 22nd. The first quarter moon will be in Virgo, and that will be on the 26th, and that will be at 8:49. That will be conjunct Ceres. The full moon will be in Sagittarius, and that will be on the 3rd of July. That will be at 14 degrees of Sagittarius by my chart. And that, you know, the galactic center is kind of more around, I think it's about 6 degrees of Sagittarius. So it's pretty close. You know, we'll cross over the galactic center just before it comes full. Yeah, and that will be on the 3rd of the 7th. Wow, and then Mercury's conjunct the Sun and Juno's, it's all opposing that. So boom. And then the last quarter moon will be in Pisces, conjunct Chiron, and that will be on the 10th of July. So yeah, that could be quite a watery one, you know, quite emotional as we're reflecting. And I can really feel the centaur energy this cycle, you know, with the full moon in Sagittarius and the last quarter moon conjunct Chiron. Chiron was a centaur, you know, so it's really interesting, like, time to be reflecting on all of that. So yeah, through this cycle, we've got Taurus, then we've got Virgo, we've got Sagittarius, and we've got Pisces. So, you know, the Virgo energy for the first quarter moon is really going to be getting us working, you know, and getting into a service and getting all the details in order. So this could be really great, you know, with the Saturn retrograde thing as well. So, and then the Sagittarian energy, the Golden Gate, is going to be taking us out into the cosmos, you know. The last quarter moon in Pisces, we're bringing it back. we are, you know, but actually in like this dreamy, transformative, deep space of healing for the last quarter moon. So yeah, beautiful cycle ahead. And coming back to the newness of the moon. So we've got 32 degrees of Taurus conjunct Juno, who's at 33 degrees of Taurus. And we have a beautiful trine as well. So look at this grand trine that's coming between Saturn over here, who's just going retrograde, and the South Node in Virgo. So we've got Virgo again. So Virgo is a big player in this cycle as well, as I've said, with the first quarter moon being in Virgo, which will be aligned with Ceres. So this grand trine is really supportive energy to really be focusing on our work, but reflecting, like the Saturn going backwards, it's like, okay, we need to really make some good choices about our work and about our service, Virgo, and our responsibilities as well. So, and in the energy of Aquarius, Saturn is like our responsibilities in the community or as a whole, how we're working together. And so this could be a really good time, with this energy and with Juno as well. It's what we're committed to. So this cycle feels like it's a huge, like, looking into all that we are doing in our work and our responsibilities, or if we're mothers or fathers, in our rearing children with the Juno energy, and really reflecting on that service and the details of it, so we could be, a really good time for looking at business, money, accounts, doing books, and really kind of, okay, looking at finances and how we're going to financially make things work. So the Taurian energy, can be on its shadow side, can be very fearful of lack, scarcity, not having enough, not being enough, lots around worth and security. So this energy of this grand trine, it's kind of like saying, okay, so we need to really grow up, be a bit mature about money, about finances, about how we are supporting ourselves, so that we can really work on this path of uniqueness, Aquarius, of what we really want to do. And, the Mars energy, really wants to be moving now. He's coming out of the waters and he's going to be moving into Leo and this expression. And so there's a real creative burst of energy coming from the Mars energy as he moves into Leo. In my chart, he's still coming up at the end of Cancer, but we saw in the live sky that he's actually moving more into Leo. So he's on this transition as well right now of like coming out of the deep waters of the feeling and into a creative expression of who he really is and what he's showing now in the world. So, and this energy here, where Venus and Mars are aligning, for their conjunction as well on the 22nd, is actually the Lion's Gate portal. So not only have we got the golden and silver gates activated this cycle, we've also got the Lion's Gate portal being activated, which is over in Leo. And we know that Saturn is on the royal star Formal Heart as well at the moment, quite close, not in exact conjunction, but he's going to be going back closer towards it. So, this is a really powerful cycle, and I feel like there's a really good opportunity to create more structures and systems around our work, but working in a more collaborative way. Realizing, I don't have to do it on my own. We can do it together, and we can delegate, and and actually this is the Aquarian way. So if we're moving more into the age of Aquarius, which is where we're moving towards, it's like Saturn's time here in Aquarius is really like helping us to learn how to work together, to learn how to come together in community and tribe again. Because we've been so separate, haven't we? We've been so broken up into our little boxes, so yeah, this cycle with this new moon, it's kind of like really setting intentions for our work, for our money, for our businesses. It feels really in alignment if you have a business or your own work that you're really working towards, to really start putting in place some physical things that are going to help in the future, So this is the reflective energy. The reflective energy of the retrograde, I mean. And Jupiter is still really close to the North Node as well. So Well, in the constellation Aries is actually Cetus as well, the whale. So this place where Jupiter is now with the North Node, oh my goodness, it's so expansive into our destiny, and it's spiritual expansion. It's expansion of our soul. And we could be feeling like we are shifting so fast, and all of the parts of us that, we're needing to release are just shedding like layers of a snake, or like we're peeling away all of the old and really coming into our soul purpose at this time. It's so powerful. Oh, and I just realized Uranus is at 22 degrees of Aries as well. So, I was talking about the 22, the 22nd is the date of the Venus Moon conjunction. And yeah, Uranus is still at 22 degrees. So this is awakening us into the Kundalini power, and there's a real spiritual awakening happening inside of us collectively at this time as well. So wow. Is there any more aspects I want to share about? Well, so Pluto is still T-squaring the nodes, as we know. I feel like this cycle, the intensity of that doesn't feel quite as intense. Maybe we've moved through a lot already. So we're getting kind of used to that kind of intensity of change and shifting. And there could be a feeling of release and surrendering into this transformation, surrendering into our destiny. Jupiter with the North Node is really helping that. I feel like he is like this expansive, powerful, opening, spiritual energy that is just like encouraging us to change. There's like an abundance of love and connection here if we can really just open into the shifts and the change. And we're having to let go of so much. The South Node in Virgo is so much around slavery, being of service and working, in a way that's not serving, so there's like this whole shifting that's happening around how we create money and abundance and the ways that it has been. There's so much in our financial world going on at the moment, and it's like we're getting to really look at, I think, our finances and money this cycle. And yeah, Saturn, review review our work and our responsibilities. And yeah, like I said, it's a really good time for businesses and accounts and really getting our accounts in order. Yeah, anything else I wanted to share about? Yes, so the Venus and Mars energy that I was talking about, Black Moon, Lilith, and Pallas are here as well, and there is a trine to Chiron, so the masculine and feminine inside of us, these energies are healing. There is a collective healing happening as well as an individual healing around healing, these parts of ourselves, so tuning into our own inner masculine and our own inner feminine, and what parts of us, are really needing healing now, so the energy of Chiron, it's like really enabling this deep healing to happen. And from doing that healing, it's enabling us to awaken, all that's been dormant in our being, and really come into balance and less kind of like, alignment of who we really are. So yeah, taking all that into account, it's going to be a very interesting cycle. And I'm hoping that I can come on around the time of the full moon as well, so I can give you a little update around that. But yeah, wherever you are in the world, I'm really wishing you so many blessings on this new cycle that's ahead. And yeah, just really holding the intention of love in all of this, because really it is love that is what we all need now, right? Is that really to feel that love inside of us and to stay centered in our heart. And that is where all parts of us meet, in this valley of our heart. And if we can keep bringing ourselves back into that love, you know, and drawing it all from that heart center. I feel like this is really the medicine of this new cycle ahead. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Sending you all so much love and blessings. And yeah, hope this new lunar tide brings lots of abundance and alignment with our soul's path. All right, blessed be. Mhm.